Hello everybody and good morning. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, and it is Friday. Not that matters because we're all at home. So we are on the last chapter of John Maxwell's book that we've been going over, Your Roadmap for Success. So I hope you guys have liked this book. Leave a comment below once we're done with this video of what did you get out of this book, what did you like about this book the most, and what was your biggest takeaway. So let's jump into this chapter. So what should you do along the way? So the answer is you really need to take somebody with you. Once you decide to go on this success journey, and once you reach that level of success and meeting your highest potential, you then need to go back and find some people that you need to mentor yourself to help take with you. So why do people not do this? Why do people not take other people along the way? Most people think entirely of themselves, and that's not the way to become successful. So to do that, you have to give to others. So I like this quote by Douglas M. Lawson. We exist temporarily through what we take, but we live forever through what we give. So most common reasons people don't mentor others. Number one is insecurity. A lot of people who are insecure feel threatened by other people once they start succeeding, and they don't feel significant enough. Number two is ego. They're extremely consumed with themselves. Number three, inability to discern people's success seeds. So once you are able to find it in yourself, you are then able to see it in other people. And then once you find it, you can give the person what they need in order to help them grow to their highest potential. Hello, Jim Bailey, how are you? And then we have wrong concept of success. So most people don't understand what it takes to be successful. And success is a journey and knowing your purpose. So growing to reach your potential and helping others do the same. Lack of training. There's really no school or exact training that I know of that teaches people how to do this. Or if you don't know it, it's not something that's taught in school. So I learned this when I moved down here with Jeff, or actually I came down for a trip first. I spent an entire month with Jeff when I first got into MLM. It was my second company, but I was still very new. And I wanted to learn exactly what it is that he did that I needed to learn. So I'm like, why don't I come down and visit? I'll be there for 2 weeks. It turned into a month. And I came down and I just went everywhere with him. And I'm like, I want to see exactly what it is that you are doing so that way I can mimic it. And it was very good. When you take people with you while you're doing presentations, it shows them how your posture is, how you dress, how you work with the people, questions that you might ask them, and they get to hear how you respond to everything, which is a great way to grow. And then once they see it, then you get to turn around and say, okay, now that you've seen it, let's have you give this a try. So that's what you want to do when you start reaching these levels of success, or when you start reaching your goals. You want to go back to the team, see who is working and who has the potential to go further, and then you want to put that time into those people to take them with you to then go take them further. So with that, Jeff, I will have you take over. What do you need to know as you start?
All my emails just dropped here, so now I have to find it again. Card statement.
All good.
Maxwell sent me some stuff. Chapter 10.
Oh.
And we're on... Where?
What do you need to know as you start?
Sorry, I am lost here. Are we on the same chapter? 10?
Yeah. Yeah, I already went through that. What do you need to know as you start?
So, get with the program, right? Scott is here. What's up, sir? Gregory, how are you? It is Friday in Indiana. It's rainy and kind of cold out. So it's Jim's birthday. So Jim Bailey, happy birthday. We'll sing to you later here. You probably don't want to hear us sing though. But let's get into this. What do you need to know to basically start to bring the right people with you and make this happen? Number one, everybody wants to feel worthwhile. So there's some basic concepts if you want people to actually feel what's going on. It says when a person does not feel good about himself or herself, they will never believe in success no matter what they accomplish. So it really is an internal belief. That's something that I learned in Think and Grow Rich. The belief internally. Now, when we went to Grant Cardone's 10X seminar, another common theme throughout all the successful people that he brought up was belief. Thank you, absolutely. Two, it says everybody responds to encouragement. So encouragement and compliments, build people up is the easiest way to say it. But to build people up, John Maxwell also talks about that you have to have the ability to take your eyes off of yourself. You have to not be so selfish, and you have to look at other people, which typically takes working on you first to get to a point where you're okay, so that way you can give back. If you're not putting anything in, you're probably not being able to give out what everybody else would need. People are naturally motivated. John says if you see a little kid, he's naturally motivated and curious to go do things. So it's there, but here's what I found. You have to find their dream. He talks about you have to find their dream, you have to find their motivation, and then they'll go do whatever they need to do to get what they want. One of the people that I was able to work with when I first got started inside of direct sales and MLM was a guy by the name of Dexter. Dexter always talked about the dream. He said the number one thing that will pull you through is the dream. He goes, if you can find people's dream and then continually get people to dream bigger, and everybody's dream is individual. Individual meaning everybody has a dream of what their ideal lifestyle would look like or a better lifestyle would look like. He goes, your job is not to pick it for them. Your job is to put it in front of them. And he was a master dream builder. He would take people to, car shows, and he would take people to car lots, and he would take people to new houses. There's a great story of him and another guy, Rex, and I can't remember her name, Rex and Betty. And they had bought this giant house in North Carolina on this lake. And, it was huge. It was like 7,500 or 8,000 square feet, which is a big house. Multi-story, upstairs, overlook the water, kitchen at the water, and then a walkout basement right to the dock. And they were moving in, and Dexter showed up in a cigar boat, if you know what that is, and walks up on the deck, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's so great to have you in the neighborhood, because Dexter also lived on this lake, or at least had a house on this lake. And he's like, guys. He goes, I really need you to get in the boat real quick. You gotta see this. And they're like, we're moving in, Dexter. We're good. No, you gotta get on the boat. And he gets in the boat, and he drives to the other side of the lake to this cove. And there's this, I can't remember if it was 12 or 15,000 square feet. It was almost twice the size of the house. And he's like, guys, Rex and Betty are like, we're moving in. You're showing us another house. 6 months later, they moved to that other house. So Dexter was just a master at basically building the dream and making people, because people are naturally motivated for what they want. That's the key, is finding out what they want. People buy into the person before buying into their leadership. So building relationships, getting to know people, it's important. How long does it take for a life change? How long does it take, to make that happen? Well, typically, you've got to get to know the person. You've got to build a relationship first, and then it comes second. So it says steps to take to make this happen is make people development your top priority. If people development is your top priority, I think getting people to dream is a top priority, and then the method for them to get their dream is personal development. 2, limit who you take along. So he says, unfortunately, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything. And that was one of the things I've always had a problem with, because when I first started understanding anything about success and I started working hard, I started getting pulled in so many different directions. Jeff, you should go get your insurance license. Jeff, you should go get your financial services license. Jeff, you should go get this license. You could pass all these tests. And it was a good feeling, because I was not a person that was good at school or good at taking tests or good at reading or good at notes. I did not do well in speech class at all. I didn't really do well in school, so it was flattering that people were coming at me and telling me that I could go do all these things. So what did I do? I wanted to live up to the expectation, so I would go and I just get involved in all this stuff. Unfortunately, you can't do everything. So eventually I got so busy, it just wasn't working anymore, and I had kind of like regret in signing up for stuff, but I felt bad that I didn't do it. So eventually I learned, John Maxwell said, one of the keys to becoming successful overall is being able to say no to stuff. Being able to say, no, that doesn't fit with the direction I'm going. No, that doesn't fit with who I am as a person and what I want. So it actually started becoming much better. You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. So you have to pick and choose what is important, what goes on the plate, and what doesn't. Now, there are associations that I have with certain stuff, and a lot of times, part of my problem wasn't that I couldn't do more. It was that I'm a really time manager. I was a terrible time manager. I couldn't dictate. I was bad at prioritizing, would be the best way to say it. I got up and I worked off of circumstance. Well, how many calls came in today? Well, who did this? Who did that? Instead of looking at the calendar and saying, these are the times that this stuff needs to get done, and then I have all this extra time if I get this done, I would screw around and, if you have 1 hour to do something, if you have an hour's worth of work but 12 hours to do it, you'll take 12 hours to do it. Unfortunately, that is true. So prioritize. You should spend 80% of your time developing only the top 20% of the people. In MLM and network marketing, you want to try to develop everybody. You want to try to develop everybody. You want to give basic information to everybody and encouragement to everybody. But when it comes to development, what I've found is it's inclusion, exclusion, and it's actually a smaller number than 80-20. It's basically you're going to teach differently to the people who do the work, and the people who do the work have to qualify to get in. Qualify. So anybody at any level. This is basically what they did, and what I now looking back, is they had meetings specifically for the people who are doing the activity, meaning the people who are actually teaching, presenting the opportunity to other people. If you presented 15 times in a month's time, you got to attend the pre-event. And the pre-event was where they brought in somebody from the outside who was successful at what was going on, and they had a locker room talk. Now, if you've never been in sports and you've never heard of locker room talks are different than general talks. Sometimes it's a butt kicking, and sometimes it's, a Q&A. Hey, what are you guys struggling with? What do you guys need to know? I was amazed that there were so many sharp people at some of these meetings, but when it came to the extra meeting, when it came to getting into that group, people excluded themselves. People wouldn't go do the work. Now, they were strict. I mean, they made you show your calendar showing the people that you presented to, like walking in the door. There was somebody kind of screening that at the front. Hey, do you have your calendar with you? Do you have your notes with you? I mean, they were like, it was good because it was accountability. It was good because once you got in that room, you knew for sure that the people sitting in that room were the people who are going to make it to the top. And funny enough, the people who are in that room were all the ones crossing stage. They were the ones who were promoting. They were the ones getting to the next level. Why? Not necessarily because they were getting that information at that meeting, but because there was something called inclusion, exclusion. You were included if you did the work. You were excluded if you didn't do the work. And that's why it became completely fair, rather than picking and choosing based on, well, I like this person, or based on I'm friends, or based on seniority, or based on, some kind of inner politics inside of a business. It was based off production. Actually, it was based off activity. which is even better. If it's based off activity, it's really good. If it's based off activity and production, you just have a higher level of the people who are doing it. Brad, what's going on, man? So, where are we at? Back to the notes. Taking people along. Number 3, develop relationships before starting out. It says, mentors make a common mistake of trying to lead others before developing the relationship with them. So, that's something you want to spend time doing. How do you develop a relationship? Well, using form, going out and doing things, meeting people over coffee, well, obviously not right now, but, meeting people over coffee, meeting people over lunch, meeting people over dinner. There's a book called Influence, and it's statistics that show how to influence someone. It's actually kind of cool, but at the same time, scary, because you can use it for the wrong reason. Okay.
Who's the author of that? Do you remember?
No idea. The book is called Influence, and there's like 6 or 7 editions.
Oh, okay.
Ask them to share their story. That's big. Ask them to share their story. Ask them strengths. Ask them weaknesses. Ask them what is your, what motivates you. What are your dreams? Where do you plan on being in 5 years? What's the most important thing to you right now? Right now. Those are actually 5 questions that I ask inside of the agent profile. So if you don't know how to do this with brand new people, like if you're in direct sales or you have a company of any kind and you're hiring people and you're like, I don't know how to, a lot of people think you can build a relationship with somebody just because they're in the same frickin' room. And that's unfortunately not true. I thought that. I thought, well, they're on my team. I'll get to know them eventually. And that's not how it works. So FORM, form, friendly, occupation, recreation, and the message. It's a line of questioning that you can use to actually build a relationship much, much faster, build rapport much, much faster, build connection much, much faster than you would by accident just showing up every once in a while. It is something that you want to sit down and do with each person that comes in and find out what their strengths, weaknesses, dreams, motivation, what's most important to them. Because if you find that out, it's easier to work with them and motivate them. Give help unconditionally. Give for the sake of giving, not for the sake of getting. Let them fly with you for a while. And he goes, I'm going to make a note to every single person here. Never work alone. Always bring somebody with you. This was one of the keys that, again, going back to Dexter. Dexter said, I never went out of town unless I was trying to bring somebody with me eventually, because he wanted to show the people that he was working with what to do. He goes, I try to never go to an appointment, a sit down face to face to basically show people what he was doing or, present his business. He goes, I try to never go alone. I try never to eat lunch alone. Why? Because he always wanted somebody with him that he was teaching what to do. So he kind of has this system. I do it, and you watch. You do it, and I watch, and then you do it. From there, you would also need you do it and have somebody watch. They do it and have somebody watch, and someone else does it. So the idea is you're transferring what to do to the next person by actually having them watch you, then they do it and you watch them, and then they go teach somebody else. Learn, do, teach, basically. Put fuel in their tank. It says be on the lookout for good material in other areas of interest. So, sometimes you can motivate people not necessarily by the personal development so much as by the dream development. 7, stay with them until they can solo themselves successfully. Solo themselves. There's a couple different kinds of soloing. The solo I think of is in rock climbing, when you're just going by yourself and you're also without a rope. So scary, death-defying in a lot of cases. Also soloing in airplanes. You basically have to go with somebody until they can go on their own. So you want to make sure that they can be successful at going up and landing and everything. Number 8, clear the flight path. Common obstacles, lack clarity and direction, bureaucracy, isolation, busy work, poor or dishonest communication. So you want to kind of look over and say, okay, what's going on here? What do we need to correct? What do we need to fix? Sometimes people have some inner working, I call it system or programming. Sometimes people have programming that's there that needs to be questioned. hey, do you understand how it works? That's why I think Robert Kiyosaki's books are so good. If I know that's part of what we're going to go over here on the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. We're going to actually go over some of Robert Kiyosaki's books, and he gets really into the different ways to make money. There are 4 quadrants to making money. There are 5 issues every one of us have right now that are going to have in our lifetime. And he goes into, not only what those are, but what to do about them. Number 9, help them repeat the process. Teach them how to teach. Take others with you and help them change their lives for the better. So that's pretty much a recap of this particular book. Brandy, what you got?
So if you guys would like to have our notes for this book, we're going to be taking notes on each book and sending them to you. So if you guys would like to have those, you're funny. I got a cup too. We're matching. Anywho. If you would like those notes, I will put a link in the comments below so that way you can put your email in, and each time that we go over a chapter, we will send an email to you with those notes. And the next book that we're going to be going over is by Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average. I really like the Grant Cardone books, but mostly because I like him and I like his wife and I like how he does things. And a lot of times he kind of likes to say things in a way which kind of comes across like a kick in the ass, which sometimes I need. So if you're one of those people who likes that type of speaker, you're going to really enjoy this book. So yeah, on Monday we will start that. And if you guys would like to go follow our YouTube channel in case you miss an episode, you could go follow the YouTube channel by searching MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, and you could go follow us there as well. So with that, I think that's everything. And we will see you on Monday.
That's a wrap. Those notes are there. So if you want them, all you have to do is fill out the landing page and they automatically come to you. Very cool. So appreciate you guys. We will talk to you on Monday. See you then.